Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and here we are back for Football Manager 2024, and this is going to be the first rebuild series of the beta version. Just going to test to see how the game is going, and we are going with Aberdeen, and we'll get straight into it after the intro. Welcome back, guys. As I say, well, it's a brand new Football Manager. We've all been waiting for it. We've been waiting for the beta access, and it dropped 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So me, along with every other YouTuber on the planet that does Football Manager stuff, has been working feverishly to try and get the first videos out, and this is going to be the first one, rebuild series, based around a club that is actually a little bit close to my heart. I say a little bit close, it is close to my heart. My wife is actually from there, half my family, my in-laws are from there, my father-in-law used to play for Aberdeen as well, so a little hint there why I've gone for this. But it's also a club that needs a little bit of care, needs a little bit of attention to it, and to finally topple Celtic and Rangers off their perch. And so far, as we can see here, into the first couple of games of the season, we're 3 wins in 3, top of the table. I'll just pack my bags and go now, shall I? But I think this is going to be a little bit more difficult than I realised. Transfer budget not exactly the best for Aberdeen. Probably one of the reasons why they've been lagging behind, because they just, in real life, they just haven't had the investment. They have been struggling to find any sort of consistency since their heydays of when Ferguson was in charge in the 80s, and since then it's just been Celtic and Rangers all the way through. As you can probably see from past winners. Celtic. Everybody knows the story. Celtic Rangers, blah, 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 blah. Then that little bit there where Aberdeen did actually win a couple of titles, and they just didn't capitalise on that. They finished second quite a few times in the late 80s, early 90s, but since then, I don't know, actually they did finish runners-up. I must have missed that. But even still, they haven't managed to kick on from there. They did get a 3rd place finish last season, so it's not too bad. But, as I say, financially wise, I have spent a little bit of money already, but I've been doing a lot of wheeling and dealing. The transfer budget I initially got set, I think it was about 3 million, something like that. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a proper Del Boy on this, and I've reduced that transfer budget down, and it went all into the wages. So I could sign a decent amount of players. I needed to sign a lot of players to bulk out the squad, because not only did we have the league and the couple of Scottish Cup competitions, but we also had Europa League to qualify for. So this is what I brought in. All these transfers had already been done. Very small transfer fees, all loans, nothing really standing out there. One major star youth player is Alfie Babbage, who's got a good amount of stats there for a 17-year-old. There's a lot of hopes being pinned on him in real life. One player I did get rid of was Polvara, because I couldn't get his work permit renewed, so out you go. But transfer wise, a few of these had already been done. Sockler and Clarkson, they were already brought in before I took over. Liam Scales is the one player who I did bring in. He is a previous loanee from Celtic from the previous season. They didn't, for one reason or other, make it a permanent transfer, but then he was transfer listed, so I went and got him anyway. So, experienced player, could play at fullback or left centre back, and just brings a good amount of experience, and he knows the club, so it kind of made sense to bring him in. But then I went on to the free transfer market, and it went a little bit crazy, to say the least. So I brought in these players here, besides Graham Shinney. Shinney was brought in, but Football Manager OG, I suppose you could call him, Matteo Destro. I wanted a striker who could score goals because I got him in. Where was he? Matteo Destro. I got him in on transfer deadline day because it was blatantly obvious to me in the first few games that we were struggling to score goals. We were only winning like 1 or 2-0. So I wanted a striker, a proper striker who could finish. So I got him in. Cabano as well. I brought him in from Fulham on a free transfer as well to give me another left wing option to compete with Duck as well. Then I wanted to bulk out basically the entire squad. So Ryan McLaughlin came in as a backup right back. Mackay Stephen, former Aberdeen player as well, another winger backup as well. Leandro Bacuna, another centre midfielder to back up Shinnie and Clarkson in the centre of midfield, and also another centre back, Danny Ayala, who again is just an experienced defender to bring in. I did bring in a couple of loan players. Reece Williams again was already at the club. He'd already been brought in, but I brought in a couple of right-sided, left-footed inverted wingers, Scott Banks and Paul Glatzel. Scott Banks has one of these new things in where he actually has a target set. I can't see where it is on here. Still obviously trying to get used to the new system, but he does have a target set to get over is it on the contract? I thought it was on the contract, but he does have a target set. I think it might actually be in the home screen. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, achieve an average match rating of over 6.9. That was set by Crystal Palace for him. So let's see how he does this season. Then we'll go back to it. And the other one was Paul Glatzel. Bit of a throw the dice just to bulk out the squad a little bit more. But all in all, I'm quite happy with the transfer business. Only $1.5 million spent, but a lot of them were on free transfers and player fees, basically. Squad-wise, this is how it's looking now. It's looking pretty packed out. And as you can see, I've put Destro in on a permanent fixed position as my striker. So when I have a look at the tactics, I've gone for the usual, as pretty much most people will do, Gegenpress 4-2-3-1. Destro is the only one who's going to be fixed in that position because I want a striker who can actually score, and I know he can. Then if I do a quick pick without any restrictions, it's actually Destro out and Biovsky comes in, and he's not impressed me at all. He's not impressed me at all. That was the other guy, Ramadani. Very good player for this league. In fact, never heard of him before. I don't know whether anybody else has. Although I've never heard of him, but his stats. Okay, he hasn't got the best technique, but he's a ball-winning midfielder. He's got the mentals, he's got the physicals. You just keep playing all day long, and as a ball-winning midfielder, he's spot on. So, no complaints. He'll be a starter. I've absolutely no doubts on that. So that is the quick pick without 11. Clear that again. I'll put Destro back in there because that's what I want him in for. So we'll have a look at the other competitions that we're in. So there we go. Now here's a little hint of what actually happens in the Europa League. As you can see, we got Ajax in the qualifying round, and we put up a good fight of it. They beat us 4-2 on aggregate, but in the end that knocked us down to the Conference League, which is still European football. And then we got Olympiacos, Villa and Steaua Bucharest in the group. So I'm liking this start in the league here, not liking that group draw. So it's one of those where it could go one or two ways. Either we could have a really successful season, or we absolutely and utterly fluff it. But with that being said, let's simulate the first season, get into it, and see what happens. So I'll see you in a few seconds. And there we have it, folks. We are back, and I'm miffed. I'm annoyed at that, because I was watching the simulation as it was going through, and we were top all season. As you can see from the graph, we only dropped down briefly, and we were top all season. And then I didn't realise this because I don't play the Scottish leagues, but they go into like a little group of 6, as you can see here, for the final few games of the season, and that's where we lost it. We'll have a look at the league table overall, which means we do qualify for the Champions League out of this, but our form, losing 3 of our last 5 games, lost us the title. I'm absolutely gutted. I'm absolutely gutted because I was watching that simulation all the way through. It's going all the way through perfectly. First, top of the table, superb. And then we lose it. Last couple of games of the season. That's away loss at Celtic and away loss at Hibs. And actually saying that home loss to Rangers, that home loss probably was the one that really did it for us. We have a look at the schedule. Yeah, so lost to Celtic, lost to Hibs, and lost to Rangers. Losing 3 out of those last 5 games, that just crushed us. But for the rest of the season, I mean, we went on a really good couple of runs, especially around September, October, where we only lost once and drew once, and also December, where we went through to January and only lost and drew once again, and scoring a fair old amount of goals. So all in all, not too bad. If we have a look at the competitions, yeah, already knew the Europa League was out of the question, but we actually got through our group stage. League path, group stages, all groups. Let's see if we can find us. Right, yeah, Group H. We actually finished top of our group. I am impressed. I'm very impressed. We finished top of the group ahead of Villa. So who did it? So yeah, beat Bucharest 2-0. Beat Olympiacos 4-0. Lost to Villa. Then beat Villa away, but lost at home. That makes no sense. Then beat Bucharest again and beat Olympiacos again. That's a great little European run. That's really good. Quarterfinals and semi-finals of the 2 cup competitions as well. I think overall I could call that a successful season. I'm a little bit annoyed that we didn't win the title, but we move on. We have a quick look at the squad. Have a look at the goals. Destro coming in, 23. Duke, 15. 13 from Banks, who got 26 assists. So he definitely lived up to his target that Palace set him. Done really well. Shinny, again. How old is Shinny? He's 32, so he's still up. Physically, it's dropping off a little bit, which is a bit annoying. But 13 goals and 17 assists from a ball-winning midfielder position. Not bad. So, signings-wise, didn't do too bad. Looks like I've got a few upset players to go and sort out. But overall, finishing second, just missing out on the league title, having a good Conference League run, and now being in that position to push on into the Champions League, hopefully, if we can get some decent signings. Speaking of which, let's have a look at the financials. One of our most successful seasons. And they've got no debt. Is it just the fact that the Scottish League just doesn't bring in that much money? That's going to take some manoeuvring, to say the least. Okay. Right. Well, as I say, that is it for the first season. The game is looking really good. It's running really well. There was a couple of issues where, because it's the beta, I couldn't view some of the cup draws, namely the Conference League one. So that's just a bug that's going to get ironed out over time. But overall, the game is looking good. The match engine is looking great. The set piece coach thing and setting up your own set pieces and stuff like that, that's really good fun. and I'm quite happy with that. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please do me the courtesy, the honour, if you would please, of leaving a like on the video, share it around your friends, and also please subscribe to the channel to get this video boosted. I would really appreciate it, because I'm hoping that this year, the FM2024 year, is going to be the big year, because I've got more ideas, more rebuilds, director of football saves, a long haul save coming up with Tranmere, which I'm going to start in a couple of weeks once the beta is finished and all those little bugs and kinks have been worked out. So that is going to be a big one for me. So thank you very much for watching, guys, again, and I will see you in the next video. I'll see you later.